Alright guys, it looks like the summer event is right around the corner, or at least I should say it should be right around the corner, but for some reason it looks like they're kind of extending the time, or they're just, I don't know, not going to be dropping the event when they should, because realistically, the event should come out on the 28th, right? Monday. That's when we get most of our updates, right? For the NA version, right? Like for JP, it's usually like Wednesday or Friday, kind of depending. They were like, oh, we're swapping it to Friday, but they don't really seem to be, listening to that for most of the time because we still get updates and like live streams on Wednesday. But for NA, it's usually Monday. But for some reason, they were like, yeah, we're going to do the stream for, summer 6 over here. We're going to do that on the 30th. And I'm like, why the 30th? That's Wednesday. What are we doing, man? I would just like a little bit of consistency. As you can see, dead week over here, man. I'm not really looking forward to it, but hey, at least with the pre-release campaign, at least they're throwing something our way. They could have very easily just been like, yep, the week of the 14th, that was the back to school campaign, and we're just gonna let that run for the next 2 weeks. Thankfully, they at least went ahead and dropped the pre-release campaign. They're not making us wait that long, but this is why you guys can also see that I was like, yeah, we're probably gonna see Summer 6 at like the very beginning of September, and your boy's pretty much right, because I was like, it might be the week of the 4th. They're doing it a little bit early on the 30th, but I was like, dog, we have way too much stuff to kind of move through for them to like make it, early or anything, because there's no way they're gonna be dropping stuff early. But anyway, let's talk about this little campaign that we have. It's just a nice little thing before summer comes out. You'll get a couple of apples, which you will want, because the summer event functions kind of like a baby lottery, if you want to think about it that way. Obviously, you'll get a couple of Saint Quartz and, double friend points. Oh my goodness, not the friend points. I kind of wish they'd do like double bond or something. That'd be kind of nice for some of these dudes, but yeah, half AP, yeah, go get all those quests done. The main thing that I think most people are going to care about is the summoning campaign over here, and it's really that you care about it because you're not going to summon on it, right? That's the main reason to care, is that you have a free banner that you could skip. Now, there are a couple of, ironically enough, CEs on this banner that are really good to go for. I've highlighted a couple of them. First of all, there's probably going to be Honey Lake. I imagine a lot of people are going to want to go on this banner because Honey Lake is on it. Do keep in mind, you have a lot of different CEs that are on Rado. So do keep in mind that going on this banner specifically for one CE might be a little bit brutal, right? You might not have the easiest time. I mean, you could get something like the Bradamante one, which, even if it's not the craziest effect, it's Bradamante in a bunny suit. Who's going to complain about having that? It's pretty good. But yeah, if you're going in for Honey Lake, this pretty much makes Yang just a whole different beast. Like, it makes her just way better than she already is. Like, I already think Yang is pretty solid, but they're like, yeah, it just gives her permanent Pierce Invul, so, dodges and invincibilities can't stop her anymore. She gets more damage mod against burn guys, which she already has, but it's just said, you know what, more damage. Let's just have it be like a 190% damage mod at base, which is ridiculous, right? It's super, super dumb. On top of the fact that you could just give her like command codes and everything on her face cards that just proc burn on everything to make it just even easier to use her, especially because like all of those are like 3-star ones that are just, easy to kind of throw on her instead of somebody else, because who else really wants burn? This one actually is really, really nice. And if you want to max limit break it and you do take it to the maximum, it's not a split CE, it's all attack. So your Yang does even more damage, right? Like, this is the one thing that if someone is like, look, I'm not summoning on the banner for like Drake over here, because Drake is good, especially with like the new bells and whistles she's got for some of her skills and whatnot. She is a really solid buster farmer. You could use her for that, but not worth going for over, the new servants we're going to be getting for the actual Summer 6. But if you're going on here because you have Yang and you really like her and you want to step up your Yang's game and like how good she is, this does make sense to kind of go for. And especially because some of the other 5-star CEs actually aren't all that bad. Like, I have Summer Little pulled up over here as well, because even though it is a split CE, you do just get really good generic effects on it. You probably won't end up using it over, most other CEs that you're probably going to be using. Things that have like starting charge, or, using your Black Grail for extra damage, using a K-scope for just immediate NP. But if you do get this while you're going for Honey Lake, it's not bad. Just a fat NP gain buff, nice NP damage, and then just a nice little decent crit damage buff. If you don't have Black Grail, it can kind of be like baby like Black Grail at home, you know, you can kind of use it for that for your art servants. It'll give them a little bit of NP gain if you're going to use someone that doesn't farm as easily, say like Zenobia, who will be getting in a couple of months. And the NP damage could be good if you're going to like plug in an Oberon because he loves having that extra NP damage. That could be kind of nice if you're able to pick it up as like a consolation prize. I also don't think having something like, even though this is not the craziest CE, right? I'm not pulling it up because I'm like, oh, the effects are nuts. But if you don't just have a CE that already pierces invincibility, these are just nice things to have in your Chaldea for just specific boss fights where they might have like a permanent invincibility for like 3 turns. You could just slap this on there if you don't have, say, one of the like more optimal servants for a fight, because we all know there's a lot of servants in the game that destroy specific fights. If you don't have that servant, then you could be like, well, I can turn my, I don't know, let me just say Jason into a baby Muramasa, right? By giving him built-in piercing invincibility. Then it's, you know, he's kind of like Muramasa for this fight because now he's got that invincibility caked into his kit. And look at that, 3 to 4 stars every single turn. And it's an Ataxi. And it's the Summer Drake that we still don't have for some reason. You'd think that'd be a pretty obvious one for them to give us, but still have not done that. But yeah, you have some good consolation prizes. And there's other ones over here. Like, I was going to pull up Knight of Marines, but this is really just kind of a holdout from year 1. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I looked at it the other day because I was like, man, I remember when this CE used to be crazy. 50% starting gauge, 10% quick. Holy Moses, that was nuts. And then now I'm like, really, that's all it's got? It's just 10% quick? That's not even better than like the Sakura swimsuit CE. Like, that one is way, way better. No, it's not Dive to Blue. Dive to Blue is the MASH one, but you guys know which one I'm talking about. Like, Midsummer Moment, not crazy, I guess. Like, same thing for like Hero of the Beach. Like, these aren't like, I guess you could use them technically for something, but they're definitely not like the better ones. I do think you could actually get some usage out of, like, say, the Odysseus one over here, just starting off with invincibility. If you're doing some weird fight, like, I don't know, the Goetia fight, and you don't have Merlin or Castoria to just immediately save your front line, and you don't want to sacrifice your front line to like Goetia or some boss fight that's kind of like that, you can give yourself the invincibility. I guess it's nice, but yeah, that's really the only reason I could see people going on this banner, is that some of the CEs are actually like kind of nice. You have stuff like Honey Lake that is really, really strong, and then there's decent consolation prizes. And, you know, with Knight of Marines, you have some nostalgic CEs, I guess, from like Summer 1 when that was the crazy CE to get. I still remember pulling on that banner, being like, even if I don't get the servants, if I can get Knight of Marines, I'm gonna go crazy. And then I got Knight of Marines, and I was like, you know what, I still want Squirtoria. I still want her, and still one of my worst shafts to this day, but that's a whole different story for another day. Maybe I'll make a video that's like top 5 like worst shafts in my like FGO summoning career. That'll just be me literally molding and crying for like 10 minutes. But yeah, if you're actually gonna go ahead and summon on the banner, like a short little rundown, Drake's not bad. Like, very basic kit. She gives herself like attack, NP gain, pierce invul, 50% battery, no real like special damage mod or anything. She just does solid damage. You can just use her as a buster farmer if you do want to summon for her, which I can understand. I reread Okeanos recently, and Drake is an absolute treat. The story's not the best, but Drake herself is very, very fun. Nemo is like, he's like 3 different servants wrapped into one, let's be honest, because if you're fighting on certain battlefields, he gets better. If you're fighting against like certain super like damage mod, like super giant people, he gets a lot better. You're not getting any of those, he kind of looks a little bit mediocre. Like, he's one of those servants that he could just be all over the place depending on who you're fighting. He varies from battle to battle, but if you can get him to look good, you can get some of his conditions going, he can look rather strong. He does also have one of the funniest NPs in the game, because you can use him to yeet people like, say, Kiara and stuff like that. It's very funny. If you've ever used like Tomoe's NP, it's kind of like that. Then we have Anne, Bonnie, and Mary Reed, which, look, I'm so sad because they made them. I think Anne is the big mommy blonde lady. I was so psyched when we got this unit, and then I was like, oh, never mind, she's mid. We finally got the big mommy blonde lady, and then they were just like, let's just make her mid. So I was like, well, that kind of sucks. I mean, she's still hot, but just very unfortunate. Calamity Jane is a very interesting servant. She kind of revolves around the, you know, how many crit stars you have in rotation, and she gets better the more and more stars you have available. She's a fun servant to use, not particularly broken, but you will like be able to do some interesting stuff with her, right? Like you can kind of build around her with like 20 30s and stuff to really make sure that her third skill is always getting like maximum high value. But really, aside from that, there's no reason to summon on this banner, right? Really, just wait until the 30th when they do the live stream over here, and then they go ahead and like they're like, okay, Summer 6 is dropping. Hopefully it actually drops on the 30th, by the way. Hopefully it's not like we're doing it on the 30th and then on the 4th of September, that's when it's actually going to drop. I will destroy myself in a video game if they do that, because then that means we're gonna have another dead week, which sucks. Because every time we seem to be making good progress on FGONA, they're like, you know what, hold on, let's slow everything back down. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think they'll drop it right after this, or do you think they're gonna make us wait till Monday? I like to be optimistic because the pre-release campaign ends on the 29th, but let's just hope that nothing goofy actually happens. But with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. If you guys did enjoy the video, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will catch you guys on the flippity floppity. Peace.